What is going on, my broskiis? My name is Toadskii, back again, here to bring you guys yet another One Piece Treasure Cruise video. Today, we're going to be talking about the brand new Super Evolution that's going to be arriving on the 30th of September is when this is dropping. So I have time traveled my account, I've skipped a few days forward, but yeah, the 30th of September is when the brand new Super Evolution of FUJITORA is dropping. So this is a pretty cool character. There is obviously, as you can see, there is a brand new Sugo Fest that comes along with that. So if you don't have your copy of FUJITORA, you can get this guy from the Sugo Fest. I do not suggest pulling though. It's such a waste. Just there's no reason to get this guy. He's not like a god tier unit. He's just a nice upgrade to a character that desperately needed it, really. We'll go through the Sugo Fest in a sec. I want to talk about the character first. I'll talk about the one that I have in my character box first, because the thing about it is this is a character with Limit Break expansion, actually has a buffed captain effect. So it's very interesting to see, right? So here is the generic FUJITORA we can talk about first. So old school FUJITORA, like he came out so long ago, like what was it, 2016 I want to say? Maybe 2015? No, I think it was 2016 he came out. So man, this guy's been out for ages, and he desperately needed some sort of buff, but this is his captain effect. So we'll go through his first. He's into Driven Powerhouse. His captain effect is a Driven-centric captain effect. Only 1.5 times attack, and a 3 times attack boost if you have a matching slot. You get 1.5 health, which is pretty good, and then Tandem and Recovery are matching. Like, honestly, everything about him is good, except for his attack multiplier. That's the only thing that's actually bad, but like, the health and matching slots is actually really, really good. As for his special, though, it was also in desperate need of some sort of upgrade because it's just not that good. So it's 16 turns, which is quite high. I think he might get cooldown with his expansion. I haven't actually checked. We can check that. But it cuts all enemies' health by 20%, and then he cuts the health by 20% every single turn at the end of the turn for the next 3 turns. It's a pretty good special because you actually will get that health cut to bypass enemies' resilience buffs, which is kind of good. Or if there's an enemy that has like an absurd amount of health, you can just sit there and stall for a few turns while his special chips away at the enemy. So that's what he was basically used for. And then his crewmate abilities cannot be blown away. Driven and Powerhouse get some stats, of course, but nothing like overly amazing. Let's go and check his Limit Break real quick. So does he get cooldown? He does. He gets -2 cooldown, so he goes down to a 14 turn, which is pretty good. And he gets a buffed captain effect. So this time, boost driven characters attack by 3.5 when you have a matching slot, 2 times otherwise. And then the other effects, I believe, still the same. 1.5 health, recovery and tandem are counted as matching. And that's it, right? So it goes from 2 times with just base, and then 3.5 of the matching slot with his expansion. So let's talk about what happens when you will super evolve this character and you haven't Limit Break expanded him. Let's go ahead and have a look. So this is the brand new FUJITORA, and dude, his artwork is insane. Look how good that artwork is. Like, that honestly might be the best FUJITORA artwork in the game. Like, not even kidding. That is amazing. But anyways, this guy is still an int-driven powerhouse. Those do not change. His raw captain effect without expansion is boosting driven characters' attack by 3.5 with a matching slot, 3 times otherwise. So that, again, is a nice upgrade. 3.5 is still a bit of a mid multiplier, I would say, especially because you need a matching slot for that. But, you know, bringing up the bottom tier of that from 2 times to 3 times is quite good. And it will also boost all the driven characters' HP by 1.5. Again, really nice. Recovery and tandem are still counted as beneficial. And then he has an added effect in his captain where it says, launches Gravity Blade Collapsing Heaven at the start of the quest, which is his special ability. So this is very similar to Legend Kaido. You know, when you use Kaido and you jump into an adventure, as soon as the adventure starts, he launches his special. Now, his special ability is pretty interesting. So he'll go ahead and reduce all enemies' HP by 20% as soon as you launch the special, changes the crew's type slots into matching, so that's a nice upgrade, and then also reduces all enemies' HP by 20% at the end of every single turn. So this is the exact same buff that Kaido can apply. If you have, hypothetically, if you did this, there's no reason to do this, but if you had like a FUJITORA captain and a Kaido captain, you can't use them together because it's actually the same buff that gets applied. So it's not like you can have a health cut and then Kaido's damage. You can't stack them, unfortunately, even though they don't boost each other, but I know someone would have probably asked that. Either way, you cannot do that. But it's interesting because it means that literally throughout the entire adventure, you'll have a 20% health cut every single turn. It's a really, really nice effect, right? And then on top of it, you know, you just get all your matching slots, right? Because it changes type slots into matching, and it's for all characters as well, mind you. It's not specifically for Driven, which is a nice addition. So you can actually use him on whatever team you want, and you'll get consistent health cuts. And this is not exactly like Kaido, because, you know, with Kaido, every time you enter a new stage, he cuts the enemy's health by 20%. This guy does it at the end of every turn. So like Kaido, every time you enter a new stage, you get health cut, and then end of every turn, you deal damage. This guy just does the health cut at the end of every single turn. So that's the way that this guy is structured. So that's that. Let's go over to the Sugo Fest, because with the Sugo Fest, when we go to the recommended characters list, we can actually see the character completely max limit break expanded, so we can have a look at his buffed captain effect. So his captain ability fully maxed out is a 4 times attack boost to Driven with a matching slot, and then when you don't have a matching slot, it's a 3.25. So that's a pretty good buff, honestly. I wish this was his raw captain effect. That would have been so good. Just to have a random flat 4 times Driven captain, but you have to limit break expand it in order to get it. So I'm not really a big fan of that, but across the board, you can see 14 turn cooldown still for what he does is pretty decent, I think. As for his support effect, it's nothing really amazing. Damage reduction and attack to some Admiral characters, or some Navy characters, basically. Something else we could talk about really quick before we get into the actual Sugo Fest structure is his Pirate Rumble abilities. Now, I checked this a little earlier, but it's weird that his Pirate Rumble abilities for his 6+ are not actually in here yet. So I don't really know what that's all about. So I guess we got to go over to our character box real quick and view his generic 6-star stats, because his 6-star and his 6-star plus, I believe there is minor changes, but I'm not 100% sure. They should be relatively similar to this. But let's have a look at his Rumble ability. So this is his passive effect. So he'll give Driven characters level 7 HP up, and that is constant all the time. Now that's completely maxed out. At level 1, it's only level 3, which is still not actually too bad. So if you're aiming to build a Driven team, this character is actually not bad in terms of his passive. Now his special, seeing 36 countdown timer, is a little high in my opinion, but it's a health cut. It's a 39% health cut. At level 10, it's a 49% health cut. That is pretty substantial, but at the end of the day, if you want to be running a guy that's really good at health cutting, I would suggest just run version 1 Whitebeard, because his cooldown is way lower and you can get the health cuts more consistently. But either way, if you're running specifically a Driven team, this guy is really good, and especially once we get the int driven meta, you know, with super type Katakuri, super type Blackbeard. We've got the new Jozu out right now, the Pirate Rumble Jozu. I don't think he's driven, but he's a good int character either way. But then you got like the int Dofi as well, the int Rare Recruit NL that'll be coming out. There's like so many good int and driven characters, and this guy's also int and driven, which can help out those characters in Pirate Rumble. So it's just really nice synergy. I don't think he's going to be a character that's going to see that much play in Pirate Rumble, but it's still really decent effects. Let's go over to the Sugo Fest now. We'll break down that real quick. So again, as I said, you shouldn't really focus on this Sugo Fest that much. The super type banner should be coming relatively soon. Hopefully we get a data download for that relatively soon, because I would love to talk about it and just have a look at what's going on. But for this banner right here, you can see that the first multi is discounted at 30 gems, which is okay. The second multi is 40 gems, and then the third multi, you're guaranteed to get him, and he comes fully 6+ as well, so that is also pretty cool. So 120 gems will net you 1 copy of the Fujitora. Considering how old this character is, I don't think it's a good idea to do that. Do not do it. So I guess that's that, really. Just there's no need to summon here. But hypothetically, if you kept going, you get a rate boosted character, rate boosted Sugo Fest exclusive, and just a bunch of rate boosted legends. But as for the rate boosted legends, you've got obviously the Fujitora. You got Mihawk and Perona here, which is pretty interesting. Arlong Crew, okay, I'm not a big fan of Arlong Crew, either way. Douglas Bullet here, very nice unit to have. And then V2 Mihawk for some reason. You would have thought because he's a driven captain, they would have put like a bunch of driven units in here. I don't know why Arlong and V2 Mihawk are here. That doesn't really make sense to me, but that's it. So that's the rundown of the Sugo Fest. It looks interesting, but I would highly advise to avoid this banner at all costs, because the Super Type banner is likely going to be one of the best banners of the year. In my opinion, I think it's going to be one of the best banners of the year, so look forward to that one. But anyways, hopefully you guys enjoyed this one, breaking down the new Fujitora. I do think he's a pretty interesting unit. When he comes out, I might try and use him in like a GARP challenge for you guys in a video, try and build like a driven team or something to beat a GARP challenge. I don't know. We'll see what happens when it drops, but hopefully you guys enjoyed this one, and if you guys did enjoy it, make sure you go ahead and hit the like button, and if you want to stay up to date with all the content I post, including more One Piece Treasure Cruise content, make sure to hit the subscribe button down below. But other than that, guys, I'll see you guys within the next video.